Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and specifically welcome back to a video where I show my immense regret for a tank that ended up costing me 20 million credits. Now, hopefully you've all watched my full tank review of the Kirovets 1. You'll know that my overall opinion of the tank was that it was a tank that should have been released 3 years ago, where maybe it would have been interesting, but now it's pretty much just an Object 703 version 2 without the exciting double barrel capabilities of the tank. That kind of just has a little bit more mobility, but really doesn't make up for the fact that it is like an Object 703 version 2 that doesn't have a double barrel. This vehicle was released probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago in an event which I panned called the Trading Caravan. And it was honestly the worst event that Wargaming have released. Now, I've already talked all about that in a dedicated YouTube video, so please go and watch that if you want the full story. What you really need to know, if you only want the bare bones details of the whole event, is that this vehicle, which was a brand new vehicle in the game, we didn't know how much it was going to cost until you kept rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling 75,000 credits a pop, and then it magically appeared in front of you. Now, what Wargaming didn't tell us is that it was going to take a significant number of rolls to be able to get this tank. I ended up spending 4.75 million credits rolling through things that I had no interest in at all, to then be able to have the privilege to be met with a big whopping price tag of 15 million credits for a tier 8 premium heavy tank. And of course, what can you do then? I went in and I sold a lot of the equipment that I just purchased the previous week at a 50% discount, and that's the kind of credits which I saved up by grinding premium tanks all over the Christmas period. So I was literally like a greedy little pigeon, eating my nest egg of half-price equipment and consumables to be able to afford a vehicle that I just have so much immense regret that I ever got that much emotionally involved in purchasing, right? Wargaming, when you think about it, are absolute marketing geniuses from that perspective. They put in a tank that's very mediocre. All of the content creators like me say it's very mediocre, but then everybody still manages to make it all sell out, or however many there were available, probably about 5,000 of them available within the first 3 hours of it going up. So that 5-day event where this was kind of like the poster child of it, yeah, it was only available for the first 3 hours of a 5-day event. What a joke that was. Luckily, of course, as a very dedicated whale who is about as dedicated to this game as I think anyone possibly could be, it doesn't really matter for me if it's only available for 3 hours. I only need it to be available for 30 seconds. Albeit for technical issues, which were happening during the Trading Caravan as well, because I'm going to be there right as soon as it is released. I don't have things to worry about like a job which isn't dedicated to World of Tanks that I have to go to, or other commitments that I can't really push aside to make sure that I'm able to get that new content. One thing that I want to talk about in this video is how I think that Wargaming have done a real amazing job at not only making us feel emotionally invested in these new releases for tank collectors and the huge whales like me who need to be able to feel the need to be able to have this as it goes along. One thing that I want to highlight is that I really think that Wargaming are trying to change their economy in World of Tanks, especially with a vehicle like this. They'll release incredibly good premium tanks for just stone cold cash, right? You know, your very, very exciting ones, frankly, the overpowered ones, like for example the Skoda T56 that came out. Those are the ones that Wargaming, they don't really want to give you for gold, and they don't really want to give you for credits. Which is why I'm going to present in this video as well this idea that it's been running around my head of the 3 different, shall we say, grades of where Wargaming are able to release their content depending on how good it is. If it's an incredibly strong tank, we're talking about what's going to become arguably the new best meta premium vehicle for its tier and of its type. Usually it's only going to be available for gold. Then you'll have, not for gold, sorry, for like your currency, not available for gold, because Wargaming knows that a lot of players have loads of gold in their garage, and then that's not going to get them to be able to invest new money into the game. And then what Wargaming have done recently is they found, wow, people are actually willing to pay millions of credits for these vehicles. And the very first premium tank that was available for credits inside an event was in, I think, the very first black market, probably about 3 years ago. You could get yourself an M41 Black Dog, the Grand Finals edition, and I think you could get it for 5 million credits. I should know because I purchased one for my free-to-play account. Great deal, great light tank. Pretty exciting gameplay, although, you know, maybe it's starting to show its age a little bit. But to be able to get that for just 5 million credits, wow, awesome stuff. Amazing for all of you free-to-play players out there. I think Wargaming realized that people are willing to pay way more than 5 million credits for premium tanks inside the game, as they are very sought after, and tank collectors are willing to spend any amount of credits because it's not real money, right? Now, while there are some people out there who will convert their gold that they bought in loot crates to be able to purchase new vehicles for credits, sure, it's definitely one of the worst ways that you can play World of Tanks, or should I say one of the most expensive ways that you can play World of Tanks. Converting gold into credits, you'd have to be a humongous whale. But look, for all of you out there who do, look, it's your life. Maybe you don't have the time, but you have a really good job, and you just want to have you want to have fun inside the video game, and you want to support it in your way. However you decide you want to spend your money, you spend your money. But I can tell you, as somebody who tries to get value from every video game that they play, the actual gold to credits ratio is horrific if you are able to play the game and you have a premium tank and you have things such as credit boosters that maybe you've got from events. I can grind between about 500,000 to 1 million credits per hour playing World of Tanks. If I'm playing my premium tanks and I'm using credit boosters. If I'm playing really, really well and the games are going great, I'll be making 1 million an hour. If the games aren't going so well, it's probably going to be more like 500,000 credits an hour. So when you convert gold into credits, a lot of people out there are literally, they're getting a horrible exchange rate for what they could get for if they were to just spend their time playing the game. And so this brings me on to my main point and really my conclusion on the matter. And that is, what Wargaming have done over the last year is they've been pushing the boundaries more and more and more, putting out their feelers, finding out what the player base are willing to pay for certain vehicles, such as the Kirovets 1. And clearly, they've seen that they can put out a fairly redundant, mediocre tank. You don't even see them in the matchmaker now. They're not special. They're not really even that fun to play. And they can put it out for 15 million credits, and then they realize that all the whales are going to have to roll up to 5 or 10 million credits to be able to achieve this tank. And people are willing to do it. And here's the thing. I don't think Wargaming really believe that people are going to sit there and convert a load of gold into credits, apart from those that didn't have a load of credits on their account all saved up. And you should probably sit with about 50 to 100 million credits on your account now if you want to be able to get things as they are being released. What they really are doing is they are forcing people to either have to play the game as if it's like a job, where they have to grind credits inside their premium tanks, and they have to just keep playing the game, and maybe because they keep playing the game, then they're adding to the servers and they're making the matchmaker a little bit better, or maybe a little bit worse if they're playing things like the Skoda T56. And I think what Wargaming are realizing is they're finding whole new methods and ways to try and get you to play the game, or shall I say for you to be just grinding in the game. When you think about it, they can release the Kirovets 1. It has pretty much no implications. I think most players who get this tank are probably just going to sit with it in their garage, gathering a little bit of dust. But everyone who purchased it, myself included, basically ended up spending, on a good grind, 20 hours, or at a bad grind, 40 hours of their life for me, and how much it ended up costing me after rolling it to be able to purchase the tank. I have to sit there and grind World of Tanks for 20 or 40 hours in premium vehicles, and all of the profit that I make go into this tank. And when I think what I could probably be achieving with those 20 to 40 hours, or how I could be relaxing with those 20 to 40 hours, of course, if you're not enjoying just spamming premium tanks in the first place, yeah, the mind starts to boggle a little bit. And so I have to congratulate Wargaming for finding a new way to effectively monetize their game, but also to keep the very dedicated players playing. I can't think of another game that I've played where I've really felt that I've had to sit down and just grind out a currency when you've already reached the end game, to feel that you can kind of keep up with the developments within it. And considering how closely the pay-to-win elements of the game are linked towards your credit income and your expenditure when you're doing things like upgrading bounty equipment for 3 million credits, or that you're buying premium consumables, or you're just spamming gold rounds in the upcoming ranked season, it seems very clear to me that Wargaming aren't really thinking about monetizing their games so much these days by just getting you to buy lots of gold inside their premium store, but finding ways for you to become emotionally involved with tanks, such as the Kirovets 1, that, at least for me, and I can only speak for myself here, I just feel like an absolute mug for dropping 20 million on a tank that I really don't even care about in my garage outside of its rarity as a collector's vehicle. And so I would challenge all of you out there who are maybe feeling that you're just having to grind inside the game to be able to keep up with the meta, or to be able to keep up with insane developments such as this tank coming out, to really consider that those 20 million credits are a sizable amount of your time, and that we should really consider about whether it's worth dropping them on things like these. So I've played the Kirovets about 20 times so far, so I guess I've spent about 1 million credits per game that I've played the vehicle. And this was my one and only ace tanker, at least so far. I just really can't vibe with this no flavor kind of gameplay, as of course I said in my tank review. Nevertheless, an ace tanker here for our 1,326 base experience, 2,500 damage, 1,700 assistance, and we make a decent amount of credits profit, thank goodness, as I start to have to pay back the mountain of credits that I forked out for in this vehicle, because we were using a credit booster in this game. And so, buyer's remorse in World of Tanks, it's real. But honestly, this tank is so darn forgettable that I'll hopefully be able to forget about it soon, maybe. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know if you have buyer's remorse from purchasing the Kirovets 1 or any other vehicle inside your garage, and why. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, tonight there will be an SDB1 Tech Tree showcase. And so if you've ever wanted to know everything there is to know about the Japanese medium tank line and whether it's worth grinding up to be able to get the tier 10 Japanese medium, then come along. I'm going to show you the entire tech tree. So really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.